Welcome to the Woodpreneur Podcast, the #1 podcast for the business and marketing side of the lumber, woodworking, hardwood flooring, and sawmill industry. I'm your host, Steve from Acres of Timber. Each week, we feature various wood business owners and entrepreneurs from around the globe. We share their stories, paths, insights so that you can network, learn, and grow your own wood business. Thank you so much for listening. Now enjoy the episode. The Woodpreneur Podcast is proudly sponsored by Acres CRM. Acres CRM is the wood industry's only customer relationship management software dedicated to helping you automate your sales and marketing so that you can focus on serving your customers and growing your business. You can visit acresoftimber.com to learn more and to schedule a demo. Once again, that's acresoftimber.com. Hey, welcome to a brand new episode of the Woodpreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Steve, and today's guest is Nick Price from Valley View Industries. How you doing, Nick?
Oh, doing great. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me on the show.
I'm excited to have you on. So, you know what made me reach out to you was that you posted something on your Instagram, and it was like a map of your little empire that you've been building. And
yeah,
so,
for sure.
and I was like, you know what? I love that ambition. I just love the fact that you just have your business like mapped out. And so I was like, you know what? I need to get you onto the podcast. And I would love to hear about your business. So why don't you tell everybody about Valley View Industries? Like what's your origin story?
So yeah, our origin story is that my dad actually started the business well over 30 years ago. And when I graduated high school in 2009, started working for my dad, I was like, oh yeah, I'll get rich and it will be awesome. And that was not the case. My dad's a pretty stern old man, and I got quite the whoopin and learned how to actually work. So it was a pretty good opportunity for me. And as the years went on working for him, I was like, hey, I actually really like this. I love working with cedar. That's the wood we work with primarily. And it just went on. And then he started going away in the winters, going to Thailand. So then I'd naturally kind of take over parts of the business, then started learning more about business itself and marketing and all of that. And I was like, oh, I really like that. So in 2017, I purchased the business from him. And at the time, like on Instagram there, you talk about figures and stuff. So we were a 6-figure business then, and took it over in 2017. And now we're into the 7 figures. So doing really great and growing the business. And yeah, it's awesome.
That's great. That's great. So you took over from the business, you purchased it from your dad. Now your dad's in like sunny retirement.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, he's in sunny retirement, just loving life. Yeah.
That's awesome. So tell us about the so you said cedar, right? So what's your main product and service?
So we're now a sawmill. So we'll manufacture cedar lumber. We have a dry kiln on site and different finishing equipment. So we'll make tongue and groove or deck boards out of cedar, or for saunas or that type of thing. And then we also build products out of cedar. So we have carpenters on staff. So we'll make gazebos or pergolas, and we offer installation on those. And then we also do fence panels, which is kind of another division of the business, which we offer installs on as well. So there's all these kind of divisions, hence like having maps and stuff, because we have a 2-acre facility. So, and now we're using every kind of inch of the property. So we're just trying to plan it out well. And yeah.
So you manufacture and produce products mainly out of cedar.
That's right. Yeah.
Why cedar?
So cedar is naturally resistant to rot and decay. So it's a great for these outdoor projects, especially in our climate. Like it could be.
Where are you located? By the way?
Yeah. So we're in Canada. We're in Kamloops in British Columbia. Okay. Probably about 4 hours from Vancouver.
Okay.
It's pretty dry right where we are, but we ship all over the world too. And for any outdoor kind of deck project or sauna, cedar's the obvious choice for material.
So you're like interior, like northeast?
Yeah, we're in the Okanagan. So yeah, we're kind of just east from Vancouver.
Just east from Vancouver. So it's pretty dry there.
Yeah, like right where we are, it's actually, we're in this little like desert valley. So
Yeah,
there's almost,
yeah, yeah.
there's kind of no trees right where we are, but about 2 or 3 hours away, there's Revelstoke, which is where we get most of our logs from. And that's a
Yeah.
beautiful mountain area.
Oh yeah, I want to
Yeah.
go snowboarding there.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
like
great snowboarding. Yeah.
yeah. That's awesome. So 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 like the Cedar thing, was that like your dad? Was that a you thing? Like how did
That was him actually. So I don't know if I should tell the story on the podcast, but when he was uh, younger, he was drinking and driving, as you do way back when.
it was
And
normal back then.
it was normal back then.
It was
It's not
normal.
okay now,
It
but
was not
back
it's
then,
not okay now.
yeah. But he was drinking and driving, and he drove through someone's fence. And his dad, being like him, was a bit of a hard ass. And he says, you know what? You got to go fix that fence. And he did it, and he did it right. And then the neighbor said, you know what? You did such a nice job. Could you build a fence for me? And then it just kept going, because he's working in a mill at a time.
And Cedar
as
was
a kid,
Cedar was the thing. And then
Cedar was a thing. So it's always been that. And then he started making more products and that. So it just kind of just slowly grew over time. Like he started with like one air compressor and like a little nail gun, just like nothing, right?
And back then there was no sawmill.
No sawmill. So we used to.
You brought in the sawmill?
Yeah, I brought in the sawmill. Yeah,
that's sick. That's so cool. So you must have had a really good education in business.
I don't know about an education, but like I've definitely had lots of mentors over the years.
I'm sorry, I meant like a good upbringing in business.
Oh, for sure, yeah, and especially kind of getting groomed while he'd go away. He'd be like, oh, "Okay, I'm going to Thailand for 6 months." So it's like you got to take care of this, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, I got to learn how to do payroll. I got to learn how to do all that stuff. I got to talk to the accountant. I got to make sure we pay bills every month."
For sure. Oh, that's so cool. And so as soon as you took over in 2017, how did you grow it from 6 to 7 figures? Like what was the key things path?
Yeah. So when I bought it in 2017, I got a business loan to buy the business and to buy a wood miser sawmill that we still have. So I bought that, and then I was like,
the LT40?
Yeah, the LT40. Yeah. Yeah, and we have the diesel motor on there and all the fixings on there. And then I was like, okay, well, now we got to get logs. And then, so we just started making lumber, and I was like, oh, okay, from that, it's like, we're making more wood than we need for all our gazebos. So it's like, okay, start selling some wood. And then it kind of went from there. And then it's like, oh, well, we need to dry the wood. So I need a kiln, and then just kind of kept going. In 2018, we had a stain rag spontaneously combust, and it burned down our whole shop, which was like, it was terrible, like the worst thing that's ever happened to me. But at the end of the day, a blessing in disguise. So yeah.
Nobody was hurt.
Nobody was hurt. Happened during the night. Like someone left a rag out to dry flat. It dried. They threw it in the garbage can, thinking nothing of it. Spontaneously combusted, burnt down everything. Like all of our tools gone, inventory. Had like personal stuff in the shop as well, all just totally wiped out.
Wow. So you the path to growing was you got a mill, so you started vertically integrating, like adding your own production capability, right? And then you started drying, and then once you had more than enough inventory that you needed for your products that you were selling, were you installing too at that time, or just
yeah, we were installing at that time. So like for many years, all we did really was fencing and fence installations and the odd gazebo here and there, like kind of the nicer kind of product with more finishing work on it.
Yeah. And then but how did you develop the market? Was it just because of 30 years, or did you like get into online marketing?
It was a lot of word of mouth. There's a local home show here that we usually go to every year. So just going out and actually physically meeting people and connecting, and it's always a lot of fun. We're pretty well known in town for what we do, because we do a really good quality product. So it's an easy sell. It's like do you want to get this from the box store, or do you want to get this thing that will last you 25 years and cost a little more from local people? It's like, okay, well, probably the latter. So
that's really, really cool. And then then you started doing, so what challenges have you had in going from, because the first time I scaled a business from 6 to 7 figures, I realized that there was a really big mindset shift that I needed to have.
Yeah, so that happened to me actually last year. Like we kept just like growing and growing and growing. And then suddenly I went, holy crap, I'm dealing with millions of dollars and I don't know how to do it properly. So I took a financial management course to really get the ins and outs and actually make a cash flow projection and
P&Ls, balance sheets, right?
All of that.
And actually assets. Yeah.
So then just putting a good plan going forward about how to manage that money properly.
Wow. And so it was really about money management?
That was I wouldn't say that's the biggest part of it, but that was something that like I've always just like built stuff and been like, oh, look at this cool thing I built, and taking pride in that. And other parts of the business too, just actually having a business and having good systems is a really big one. Because we have quite a few employees. So it's just about managing the people, treating the people right. We can't do it without the people, right?
How many employees do you have?
Right now, we only have 16. Like earlier this year, we were up at around 24 employees. But the way that we're operating now, we're trying to get it big into lean manufacturing. So just continuously improving everything that we do. We've been able to kind of scale back on some employees with that.
Yeah, because you're more efficient with your processes, so you don't need as many.
Exactly.
Do you use technology to run any parts of your manufacturing business or sales or marketing?
We've been getting into a bit more stuff on computers and just shared folders and lots of Excel spreadsheets and things. Recently, I hired a computer sciences student, and he's building us a new website with a quoting module in it. Okay. So you actually get to go through, you get to select how many feet of fence you would like, you get to select the style, the stain, and then it gives you a price. So it's
cool.
Yeah, cool. So it's great. So we're doing that for our fencing, our pergolas, and our gazebos. And
do you think that like what you mentioned a little bit about mentors when your dad stepped out of the picture, like how did you continuously like talk about the mentors that you've had?
Well, yeah. So as he was teaching me, there was things that he didn't know. He's never been good with computers. So he's like, hey, I have a friend of mine who's good at computers. He's going to show you some stuff. And then I was like, okay, well, I need to continue that. I need to continue learning and always improve what I'm doing. So it just kind of kept going from there. I've always had that mindset.
Yeah. What does the future hold for you now? Like what are you working on? What excites you about growing the business?
So we're a lot like, so I don't look too far ahead just because we do a lot in a short time. So like by the end of this year, I want to have a second floor installed in the shop. We're upgrading our molder. We're moving a few kind of infrastructure things around. We're doing all new dust collection for the sawmill because we have the sawmill, an edger, resaw, trim saw, a bunch of other supporting equipment around it. So we're getting some dust collection for that, log-in feed deck. So that's kind of the immediate future. Like we try to do improvements all the time, even if they're something that's free or if it costs money, we try to do what we can.
For sure. How much lumber are you milling on a monthly basis?
We're milling around like 125,000 board feet. And then we also buy some lumber that we've remanufactured. So that will just dry and then put through the molder into tongue and groove. And that's probably another 50 to 100,000 board feet.
How many sawmills do you have now?
Just one. We really push that wood miser hard.
It's running right now.
It's running right now. Yeah. There's someone feeding it logs. There's someone running it. There's someone pulling boards off. There's someone at the resaw. There's someone at the edger. There's someone trimming boards. There's someone piling.
Do you think you have capacity for more?
I think like right now, all of our equipment's pretty well sized for each other. So
Yeah.
we're really trying to find any efficiencies we can gain. And then it's kind of like, okay, well, do we get a bigger mill? But then if we do that, then it's like, hey, we have to get everything else to be bigger. So to start with, in the next 1 year, I just want to see how good we can really get with what we have before doing like a big.
I know there are people that run a lot off their wood miser, but like one LT40 doing that much a month is quite a bit, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I would see how you have 3 people on one mill, right? That's a lot, right?
Yeah, and we run it 10 hours a day, and yeah, we're efficient with band changes. And it's like, okay, someone's going on break. It's like kind of a NASCAR thing. It's like, okay, hey, so and so go change the band, and we just
did you come up with that system yourself, or did you hire somebody that did come up with that kind of system?
Definitely some people I've hired have helped. Like right now we even have a sawmill production manager. So even though we just have a small wood miser, we have a sawmill production manager, and he has a very extensive sawmilling background from one of the largest mills in BC, who's now here making sure our wood miser runs well. So he brought a ton of experience in that I didn't have, which was really helpful. So
that's so cool. That's very, very cool. You said 16 employees, right?
16.
What was your first critical hire?
First critical hire, well, everyone's critical, really, down to someone that's stacking wood. I think just as I was going, I was like, okay, well, I can only do so much. And I love piling boards. I love doing it all. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, okay, I can probably find someone to stack wood, or I can find someone to do this, or I can find someone to operate this. So it's just trusting people and training people to do, so I don't have to do everything.
What do you think is your, like, how far do you want to take this?
Pretty darn far. I love it. Right. So I'm just going to keep going, keep improving everything every day, and just see where that goes. There's no end.
I mean, I know people always say like, oh yeah, they, people hand off their businesses to their kids. Right. And what people don't know is only 2% of businesses that get handed down from, a parent to a kid actually succeed. Did you know that?
I believe that for sure. Like a lot of my dad's friends, their kids are not doing their businesses. They've gone other routes. And then, so.
Do you think it's because you bought it?
I think that has a big part to do with it. Like
I don't know, but
yeah. I think it does. Because before that, I don't get me wrong, I worked hard, but I didn't work as hard as I do now. It's a real passion project now.
That's exciting. What are the areas that you think you need to improve upon as a leader, entrepreneur?
I think just teaching staff, right? It's all about people. So like lately I've been watching lots of like podcasts and things, or like, I don't know if you've heard that Starts With Why. Simon, it's great.
Simon Sinek.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So
purpose.
Purpose. Like why do you actually do what you do? So I've really been trying to teach the staff, and it's more about why we do what we do, not like, hey, go do this. It's why are we doing this? It's we're making a beautiful product. We believe in it, right?
Yeah. That's fascinating. I love, I've always told people, I've told my clients, I've told people on, on social media, like focus on a product, have a niche, right? And Cedar is definitely a niche, and you can like build around it. Lots of times people get some of my most successful people that I've worked with, they focus on a particular product or particular species of wood, where they go all in on walnut, or right, like you're one of the first that I've heard of, like all in on cedar, like all in.
Well, yeah, because when we started rearranging the mill to be more efficient and putting everything on rollers, we were cutting cedar and fir. I don't know why we were cutting fir. but that would be double the amount of sorts. So we have to have double the yard space, double the inventory. That doesn't make any sense. It's like, just get really good at one thing.
Is that inherent to you, or did you learn that by taking over the business?
I learned that by taking over the business.
Yeah. Fascinating. Okay. So this is the part of the interview where I help you with any marketing or business advice. And so is there anything that you need to think through, or a challenge that have come up recently that you'd like some help on?
Yeah, so I've been wanting to teach my staff in a more effective way. So I've been thinking about creating video content, and I'll probably put it on YouTube. But I want to do a good job with this, right? So I don't want just my 16 staff to see it. I want to reach a larger audience with that. So, and whether it's people see that and they go, oh, wow, we really like what they do. Maybe we want to buy their products. Great. But if I could teach people, that'd be great too. So what would you suggest for reaching a bigger audience with that type of thing?
Well, let's go back to the why. But why?
Yeah. Why?
Why do you want to do this? What was the initial problem that you saw that you wanted to solve it with? So
sometimes we'll rotate through staff in certain positions. Like we have a seasonal fencing crew, and every year we have to train these fence staff. But if we have a video where it's just like, oh, we made this video, this is like a really great example of why we do what we do. And if we can just replay that video type of thing.
Yeah. So I like that. I like that idea. And I've actually done something similar in another business that I was in. But I didn't do it with the intent of having a larger audience. I did it specifically for your first problem. And so one of the things that if I were you, something to think about is, what does the Valley View Industries pipeline look like, right? Like, and I got this idea. There's a book by Tony Hsieh, and it's about Zappos. He's the guy that founded Zappos. He died, I think, last year or so, but he wrote a book and it talked about the pipeline. And I took a lot from this, and it was like, everybody from executive to the bottom learns customer service. Like, everybody learns customer service. And then the other thing was, if you are hired in customer service, if you hit certain milestones along this pipeline, within 18 to 24 months, you became a manager. So they charted out a whole career pipeline for people that worked in this business. I very much like this idea because, for you, if you wanted to grow, what if you created a video series on every aspect of the job of producing, from the sawmill to the the pergola folks and the fencing folks and your bookkeeper, right? Like your production managers, like what if you videotaped everybody and they all did, different talks about their business, and they talked about what are the most important parts. So it's what the success look like, what skills that you need, and how to develop those skills. And you created basically a learning management system for Valley View Industries. So that
cool.
the lowest person that comes in can literally learn what you do, can literally learn what your number two person does, and
exactly.
how to
Love
actually,
it.
and how to actually get there, right? But then, do you have team staff meetings?
Yep, we do.
So you can start with the team staff meetings and tell your number two person to prepare a 20 to 30 minute presentation, to hit these, record it, and then upload it to YouTube as an unlisted for now. And then on your website, you can have an area where people can log in, your staff, and then they can view the videos. But then here's the kicker. And I did this with my other business. Go to Udemy right? Or go to, Udemy or like different universities. They have like free courses, like literally give your staff online course access
Yeah, very cool.
to different things so that on their own they can learn, right? So if somebody wants to learn, accounting or Excel spreadsheets,
yeah, I think that's so great. Because even
right?
if someone's in one position, they're like, oh, well, this position seems really cool to me. Let's learn about that. And just
Let's learn about that, right? And then but then here's the other thing. Like if you really want to build Valley View to be like a thing, the next thing that you would do is you'd start doing speeches at high schools and speaking to, senior year students, right? And you'd start telling them about different career options. And then you'd say, hey, look, you want to learn what goes on in my career? Email me. I'll give you access to learn all about our things.
Oh yeah, I think that's so great.
And then they can apply. And then you can have an apprentice. Like then next, you have like this whole pipeline of stuff.
Have people who are passionate and fantastic.
Or people that are looking for something, right? Like you could, the speech could be like this. Look, I was lucky enough to buy this business from my dad. I grew up in it, but then I realized that I really have a passion for this industry and providing opportunities for people. And you can make a really good living at this company, right? And if you're looking for something that you can pour your heart into and not have to sit behind a desk as a career, like think about working here. And then you're like, oh, we have this free course where you can learn all about the industry. And you can learn about my job all the way down in every position. And then that's that.
Love it. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll send you to
this. I'm hyped for this.
In about a year, I'll send you a bunch of the videos so you can check them out.
Yeah. No, I'm very much excited for this idea because you have scale and your problems are not about like bringing in more customers. It's about fine tuning the operation and developing the right people and the right culture. Like that when I hit six figures with my business, I realized it's less. The money was still coming in. I still needed to fine tune it, but it was more about finding the right people and the right culture. And, again, I bought a lot of pizza.
Oh, yeah.
And I bought a lot of pizza. And then I also bought, I remember I'd say, look, I'm continuously improving myself. This is how I'm doing it. Do you want to learn what I'm learning? And people are like, yeah, like, and I would even create, I don't know if you, there's company softwares like Basecamp, right? Where you get everybody all on one spot and that's how you can communicate.
Oh yeah. We use Slack.
Use Slack. Perfect. Exactly. Yeah. Something like that would be perfect. Cool, man. Was that helpful?
Awesome. Yeah, that was
awesome.
I'm going to do it.
Awesome. Yeah, do it. And report back. Yeah. Cool. Any last bit of parting advice for the Woodpreneur community? Like what is something that you as a sort of 7-figure Woodpreneur, what is something that you learned on your journey that you'd like to share with folks?
Yeah, because I'm sure you have a pretty broad audience of like different size businesses or maybe people who are starting out. So kind of one of the key things I do is just I'll make a list of all the things that only I can do, right? No matter what that is, or all of the things. It's just like, oh, what do I need to do to get to the next step or that sort of thing. And then I prioritize that list and put like an A beside the most important things. And it's like, okay, what's the most important thing I can do right now? And you just do that thing, whatever it is, and just start doing that. And no matter what size you're at, you're going to grow and improve.
Absolutely. Cool. Thank you. And so how can people get in touch? What's your Instagram and what's your website?
Our website's valleyviewlumber.com and our Instagram is Valley View Industries Ltd.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Nick, for your time and for sharing your story. And I'm excited to share this podcast with everybody.
Right on. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Take care. Thanks so much for listening to the Woodpreneur Podcast, the #1 podcast for the business and marketing side of the lumber, woodworking, hardwood flooring, and sawmill industry. If you like what you heard, please give us a 5-star rating and review. You can also tap into our community by visiting woodpreneurlife.com. Once again, that's woodpreneurlife.com.